Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of the Reflection series where we share stories that recharge and rejuvenate us. And today we have a wonderful speaker all the way from the UK, Sister Aruna Ladva. Sister Aruna has been practicing and teaching Raj Yoga meditation for the past 43 years. She has authored many books and she has a blog of her own. And to write so many books, there needs to be so many deep thoughts and experiences. So it itself shows how much of a deep thinker she is. She has served in the Brahma Kumaris in many countries in the Middle East and now currently in UK. So many sharings and so many experiences in her kitty, and we are very happy to have her with us today to share some of them with us. The title of the story that Sister Aruna would be sharing is Learning from Different Countries and Cultures, and she'll share her experience of moving to different countries and learning from the cultures there. So a very hearty welcome to the program, Sister Aruna, and it's over to you to share your story with us today.
So much. And thank you for having me on this. I think it's one of the final episodes for the moment. So I thought, what might be interesting is the fact that I have moved around a lot from country to country, and I've moved around primarily for the work of the Brahma Kumaris. And I say that because when you go to a country with a purpose, with a vision, then I think you're kind of forced to make it work. So you don't stop to look at what is not working. You just get on with it and you just settle in and you try to meet different people and you get your routine going. Now, not just your personal routine of waking up and managing your day, but you start to get the center up and running, which means you start inviting different people. So, yes, I guess I moved from London to Canada. That was really, for me, I would say where I kind of found myself, because later I found out actually that one of the meridians that runs through Vancouver is matching with my personal meridian. But I didn't know that at the time. But all I knew is that when I landed in that country, it just felt so comfortable. I felt a sense of freedom. I felt a sense of adventure, exploration. And it wasn't just external, it was really looking at myself. I was spending quite a bit of time out in nature because some of you might know Vancouver is very beautiful. It's got mountains and the sea. And I had just got this new car that I was paying off for. And so that became my little kind of cave. So I would take the car and I would sit facing the ocean or some bay or something. And honestly, I would self-reflect. So Vancouver really taught me, well, firstly, Canadians are really nice people, kind people, gentle people. So it was really nice being there. But Canada really kind of taught me, how to kind of go inside and reflect and look at myself. And as I said, nature was very convenient for that. Then I was asked to go to Istanbul, Turkey. And I had had different impressions, I must say, not positive impressions of Istanbul from what my friends had told me in school, the movies that they had watched. And so when I went, I was a bit apprehensive and I wondered what it was like or what it would be like. But the first month there, I was just kind of smothered with lots of bunches of flowers, lots of love, because the people that visited the center, they loved Indians. So for them, it wasn't Aruna, it was an Indian from India. And they had been watching Indian movies. So that here there was a real live Indian person. But as I said, yeah, again, such lovely people. And they would actually walk you the block to show you the way. And in some cases, they would buy your ticket for the bus or the tram or the ferry. I mean, that's how kind they are to the visitors. Sure, you get the odd person because I was with another lady in a taxi and we'd given him some money and he said, "No, you didn't give me this." And we knew that later that he had cheated us. So you get the odd person like that. But generally, my experience in Istanbul was just very pleasant. So yeah, what did I learn being in Istanbul? What I really learned was living alone, but not being lonely. Because I'd been in big families in London, in Vancouver, and now here I am all by myself in Istanbul. And so it was a bit hard getting my routine together. And we had a few morning students, they would come and they would leave. And there I was with myself. And I'd never lived alone, let alone in a foreign country where nobody speaks the language. Or even if they do, they don't try to speak English because they're too shy. So it wasn't easy communicating or making friends. And so I did a lot of, again, reading, reflecting, meditating, walks. We were not too far from the Marmara Sea, so used to go for a walk morning and evening. And of course, always look forward to the students that came. And gradually, what happened is, yes, more and more students started to come, more and more became regular, and it became a nice family, really. So, again, I'm so grateful for my learnings in Istanbul. From Istanbul, I was asked to go to Bahrain. And Bahrain is quite a different Muslim country from Turkey. There's more Arabs. The country is like the terrain is a bit dry, not as green as Turkey, so not the same, you know, like originally grown in the country, the food and vegetables, etc. Everything is imported. You're drinking desalinated water. So in terms of spirituality, so yeah, so for me, Bahrain was about, again, working still with the loneliness, but understanding it better, that I was now beginning to enjoy my company. And I was doing a lot of things on my own. And you know what? I didn't mind. And I didn't mind that I didn't have friends. So what started in Istanbul went deeper when I went to Bahrain. And yeah, there were times when I missed London, but then if I miss London, then my senior said, well, come over anytime you want. And when I did end up going once, I thought, okay, so, it was like I got what I wanted, and then what? So next time I had those feelings, I didn't just jump, to those feelings. I looked inside and looked deeply as to what was really going on. So in Bahrain, I feel I started to come closer to God and really took the help of his company, making him my friend, my protector, and yeah, just my companion all around, really. And when I went again, there was a very small family, Indian family that was kind of there. But then with time, again, Arab started to come, English expats started to come. And again, that blossomed, and that was also wonderful. again, I would say that the Bahrainis, some of the businessmen, they helped, and they think I was this poor little girl who needed help because she's on her own trying to get this meditation center off the ground. And so they would direct me, go meet this one, go meet that one. And through that, we were able to access different venues for classes and seminars. And once, I think it's once, it was some time ago now, I think it's once a week or once every 2 weeks or something, we had the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce hall, and that was right in the center of town. And it was, for those of you who are or know the place, that was the old one. Now there's a new Bahrain Chamber of Commerce, but at that time it was a very traditional building. But again, beautiful, and we had access to the hall. And lots of people took benefit from that. After Bahrain, and you can see how now I'm getting comfortable, right? Being in these lands where, yeah, you can't just easily go and make friends with anyone. It's quite tribal. They stick to their tribes. Then I was asked to go to Kuwait. And in Kuwait, there was already a teacher, a local meditation teacher of the Brahma Kumaris. Her name was Wajiha Al-Habib. And so I actually went to stay with her because the bottom part of her house was turned into a semi-center. And so she was great company. And I felt like, okay, so this is what I felt. I felt like because I'd conquered some of my inner demons, that I didn't need to do that work, but there was other things then, for me to learn. So in terms of settling, it was great to have Wajiha there as a companion, service companion, as a support. And now, yeah, I had to start learning how to get comfortable getting out there and meeting people, because again, Kuwaitis are quite different from Bahrainis. I won't go into the detail, but they're just different. And so then I had to kind of break the ice by going to meet more of the Kuwaitis and just getting that inner confidence to be able to do that. So Wajiha was actually running a school, a living value school. So I started with that and talking to the people there. So that gave me a good springboard to get to know Kuwaitis. And again, we ended up doing wonderful retreats. Both, we took some of them to Bahrain, Amwaj Island, where we did a retreat. I brought some of them to India for a retreat. I brought some of them to Oxford Global Retreat Center. And this is how they, again, came close. So, yeah, I guess wherever I've been, ultimately, it does turn into a very beautiful family. But the learning is for us. I think that's what I want to say. Keep the courage, keep the self-respect, and we continue to learn. And as we get more comfortable in ourselves, then we're able to give the message of love, peace, hope, and others get attracted to that. So, yeah, I guess that's what I want to say for the moment. So much.
Thank you for that beautiful sharing of all the different experiences. Learning as we go, and every country and place you visited, how there was a new learning everywhere. You spoke of a very interesting combination of words, lovely and lonely and alone. Sometimes they may both seem the same. Could you elaborate a bit more on what's the difference between these two, and which one of the two is better or not, and how do we feel when we are in either of these states?
Yeah. So I think we're supposed to be alone, but not lonely. Lonely is this feeling of lack where I feel I need someone, need some company, need something. And without it, I might get depressed, I might get sick. It's definitely a feeling of lack. Whereas alone to me implies that I'm sufficient, I'm complete. I don't need anything more than what I have here. And there was a statement that I kept saying to myself for a long time. Everything that I, the soul, needs is right here inside of me. I mean, I use this as like my motto to help me get over the loneliness. Because as I explained to you, like if I felt lonely and then I got company or I got to go to London, then what? The hole was still there. The emptiness was still there until I looked at it. I filled it by self-acknowledging myself, by connecting with God. And slowly, 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 I didn't need those same supports anymore. So that aloneness becomes like your inner strength. You stand alone, you stand powerful in your own right without any pillars or crutches. I'm not saying we don't need friends and family, we do, but it's not that I'm desperate for that, for my survival. But of course, I am a very social person. And so, yeah, I like to have company. But now I don't think much about that at all. And this is what I'm trying to say to you, Lata, that, once you feel that you've gotten over something, it's not bothering you anymore, then that's not your test. That's not your battle to fight. And so then you do have people. Now I have so many people around me. But that's because, I had to get through that phase.
And do you think that's one of the ways through which we can build courage? Like that transition or journey from loneliness to being alone or stand alone strongly needs courage. How much time does it take, or how do we do that? It may not be quite easy at times. What's your experience?
Yeah, no, definitely it takes courage, but you see, because you and I are on this journey of self-reflection, self-awareness, self-management, and so we're willing to look at what are those things that are niggling us, that are disturbing our peace. And so that takes courage. You see, other people may just jump into relationships to avoid looking at themselves, or other people may just give up being in that country and run back to their home country, to their comfort zone. But when we do move around, we actually realize how much we don't know, and we realize how other cultures do it. And that was another whole part of this, just enjoying what each country had to offer, whether it was in terms of its people, its ways, its culture, its food. And it was all pleasant. It was all a good learning, and I love to learn. So I think if we can look at what can I gain by doing this inner work as opposed to what do I lose, right? So I might have lost being in my comfort zone, but look at all that you are gaining. And that becomes an impetus to just make the effort to go and to be in those places. So I would definitely recommend, I mean, I recommend it to my nieces and nephews that, the more countries you get to see, the more open-minded you become. Because ours is not the only way, the UK way or the American way or the Canadian way. There are other ways to live the same life, and people are happily doing it.
Yeah. Just like you said, being open minded about anything, wherever you go, whomever you meet, that's great. But we'd be able to do that if we are going to different places. How about some scenarios where people may not be able to travel? Cannot afford to, probably because of the situations in the world. In such times, there isn't much I can do, and I need to be at the place I am and meet the same set of people.
Well, you
How
have
can
to
I?
find your newness. Yeah. I mean, okay, if you get to travel and see new places, meet new people, wonderful. But if not, then you have to create your newness. So you have to then see newness in the people that you are with all the time. And that is the key. I think something we were talking about earlier, and that is how to maintain one's enthusiasm. And that is to keep, self-evolving and just seeing things in a different way, in a different light. So let's say, for example, you live in the same area, but you've never been for a walk down that road. And suddenly you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to walk instead of taking the car. And I'm literally going to kind of just have a look around. And then you discover a park and you think that's great. If you didn't take the courage to step out, try something new, you'd never discover that park or whatever else, some other mall or some shop or something, gym or whatever it is that you're interested in. So, yeah, you're right. In fact, I'm not saying that we should travel. I'm also mindful of our carbon footprint. But what I'm saying is, for self-change, self-adaptation, we don't have to travel. We can be doing it with the people we're living with. See them also in a new light. See their specialities. Find something that you haven't seen in them yet. This all helps our inner growth as well.
That's a very interesting thing. Newness has to come from within. It's like I need to have the aim that although I know I'm meeting the same person, I need to find something new. And that's the creative aspect of it. And that builds enthusiasm too, I guess. Beautiful. I think I would like to give that a try.
I can also add, Lata, that of course you have to understand, I personally was also growing as I was moving from country to country, and so I was also maturing, and I was also not resisting anymore. So that is also happening parallel, right? I mean, you're being asked to go somewhere for a kind of sense of duty, but inside you're also learning to live with yourself, and you're trying to get to your purpose in life, right? Which might be to help others or to start some new meditation center or whatever is your purpose. So what I'm saying is there's a constant growing anyway, whether you're moving or not from place to place. So here too, even if I'm in one place, the theory is I should keep moving on in my mind. I should keep growing. I should feel that I'm different to what I was last year. That really helps. I think when you step back and look back and then you say, yeah, I'm not the same person.
Continue to flow and not become stagnant.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because we ultimately, we want to feel like we are becoming better people, right? I mean, that's our journey, that we're improving, that our sense of self-respect is growing, our confidence is growing, we are becoming more virtuous. So whether it's a country that's teaching me or the circumstances around me, it doesn't really matter. I
Thank you so much, Sister Aruna. I think we could continue on with this conversation for a long, long time, but we do have to limit ourselves because of the time constraint. So, as a last request or a question, could you lead our viewers into a meditation experience through a commentary, please? Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, just sit comfortably wherever you are. And let's take a moment to look inside into the inner recesses of I, the soul. And right now, I just really want to zoom in on my divine qualities. Each one of us comes into this world for a reason, and that is to share our light of divinity, to express ourselves as the soul through the body. So what would you say is one of your major qualities that you share naturally through your body, through your personality, through your being? So I'd like you to zoom in on that. And I'd like you to give more energy to that. Because as we think about it, as we give it attention, we are activating that quality. So maybe you are here to be a calm, peaceful person, or to be more loving, or to be more caring, more understanding, more generous, honest. We all major in one speciality. So give that your loving attention right now. And I'd like you to now imagine that you are using that quality in your life. So just walk yourself through your life. And visualize you being kind, being generous, being humble. And just visualizing that makes you feel so good. When we act out of kindness and virtue, we are the ones who first become happy. And so let's just end with a few affirmations. So again, just silently repeat this in your mind to yourself. I am powerful. I am peaceful, full of peace. Peace is in my every cell. I am loving, pure divine love. I am pure-hearted. I give and share from a place of purity, pure intentions. So just reaffirm these qualities to yourself every day. And you will begin to build your inner core. And this inner core helps us to adjust, to be flexible to everything that life throws at us. So I wish you well on your inner spiritual journey. Thank you, and Om Shanti.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you, and we're sure everyone has enjoyed listening and taken inspiration from your words, your sharing, and the beautiful meditation experience today. We would also like to thank our viewers for joining in, and would also like to share that today's episode is one of the last episodes for some time. Thank you for all your support for the past 4.5 years. We have completed 108 episodes in this series, and we hope to connect with you again in future if we restart this series again. But till then, of course, take care. Please do visit our website www.brahmakumaris.org.au, or you could visit any of your local Brahma Kumaris center. Thank you once again. Om Shanti.